It's the Wrestling Caucus. I'm Peter A.
I'm Smiley Ariaga, everybody.
And I literally just got back from LA last night. Very quick, easy flight. And I saw a bunch of shows in the flesh. I was present for 2 nights of Wrestlemania. And I was also at Supercard of Honor for Ring of Honor, which we'll talk about in a second. So Smiley, starting with Supercard of Honor, did you see any of it at all? Or I could
I've
just
been
talk about it
meaning
because I
to
was
watch Eddie Kingston and Claudio, but I never got a chance to work
that's
his
all right.
way.
That's all right. I'll talk
How'd you
about it.
like it?
Oh my God. It was one of the best. It was probably the best Ring of Honor show top to bottom that I've seen in over a decade. Well, since All In. But okay, like Briscoes and FTR, like their series of matches were some of the best Ring of Honor matches in since All In and ever. I'd say.
I know they're better than some of the main roster. Jesus Christ, Dynamite tag matches.
Yes, but as far as a card top to bottom, start to finish, this is the best Ring of Honor show since All In. I would say it was so good, but I'll tell you why in a minute. But I also want to share. I also want to share a great Uber driver story. So I did a My Little Underground episode about like my musical experiences in LA. So here on the Wrestling Caucus, I want to share some of my wrestling experiences, right? And of course, our thoughts on WrestleMania and all that. But I had Uber drivers on both nights of WrestleMania, and I told a story about an Uber driver that I had that we had a really good music conversation. I talked about that on My Little Underground, so go listen to that. But
Oh my God.
On the way to night one of WrestleMania, I had an Uber driver. He was a Nigerian immigrant, and he was asking me, okay, what's going on? I'm like, oh, WrestleMania. And he was saying that, how fake it is and all that.
Oh, of course. What else?
And I was like, all right, yeah, it's phony. Sure, cool. Then he started to tell me this story about this former porn star that he knew or what have you. Yeah. And he told me she was saying things like, all these guys that you see on there, they may look like they'll last a long time, but really they don't in real life. And then he started saying things like, this is why there are so many lesbians, because women have all these high expectations of of sex, right? They think that they're trying to look for the guys that last the longest, but really, sex doesn't really last that long and what have you. I was like, most people would just be like, get the fuck out of my face. But I indulged. I thought it was an interesting conversation because he's not right about the lesbian things, but he's right about people have very high expectations when it comes to sex, or unrealistic expectations because of sex. And part of that is due to pornography. You see these people have 1.5 hour, sexual escapades, and you think that's going to happen to you. And that's not true at all.
Oh, that is bullshit. 1.5 hours?
What with sex? Yeah, there's been this porn out there that lasts for it's like movies. It's
I mean, realistically, it should last about 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's all he was basically saying. Basically, he was comparing porn to like wrestling. Like it's all predetermined. It's work. It's a show. It's not real life.
That's
yes,
insane.
It's like it was okay. We all know this already, but I thought it was very entertaining, and it's part of the whole thing I was telling you about when I was over there. I had a lot of wrestling is fake conversations, right? I'll watch wrestling. I'll tell people I'm going to the show, and then they'll say things like, "Well, are they really hitting each other? Isn't it fake?" I'm like, "Yes." Okay, like by now, like I'm sorry, people who don't watch wrestling and know what wrestling is, don't talk to a wrestling fan and don't tell them, okay, is it fake? You know that it's phony. Some people who don't understand wrestling and come to they'll ask us, okay, so what is it? Like, what is actually the phoniness of, if you want to know something and I'm able to tell you, or you're able to tell them, then tell them. But don't say, if you know it's phony and say, so is it fake? It's like, that's an exhausting conversation that wrestling fans have. Right? Am I right?
No, well, hell yeah, you're right. Here's the thing. Like, shout out to my friend Juliana at work. we were actually having a conversation about this because she's not a wrestling fan, but she was talking to me about this jiu-jitsu event that they were working while I wasn't there. Anyway, I was trying to explain to her what it feels like as a wrestling fan to have that conversation. Like, oh, it's fake, isn't it? It's fake. And I explained to her pretty much like, imagine going to a theater show or a movie and some jerk off stands up during the theater show or movie and is like, hey, you all know this is fake, right? It's kind of like that Family Guy gag where that guy, hey, he's a phony, he's a big fat phony and shit like that. But in real life, and even dumber, no one does that. Wrestling is the only, professional wrestling specifically, not amateur. Professional wrestling is one of the only things in sports where people just feel the need to like, it's fake, isn't it? Like specifically non-wrestling fans. It's so weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, they feel the need to overanalyze this, but like in sports, because it's like taken seriously, oh, this is like real, they're doing it for real. No one ever says, when an announcer says that was 100-mile-an-hour fastball, nobody says, so like, how do you know that? How do you know it's 100 miles? You don't see people with
no
like
one's
radar
gonna barge
guns.
the booth. No one's gonna barge the commentary booth during the game and be like, hey, how do you guys know that? You guys are liars.
Yeah, like people, when a pitcher throws a curveball or a changeup, no one ever says, how do you know? I didn't see the ball curve. Like, no one says that because, you know, it's not predetermined, you know, or whatever it is. But like wrestling gets the, like movies, we love superhero movies, right? Like America loves superhero movies, $1 billion, right? So no one ever says, you see a man dressed as a spider webbing around New York City. Like, no one states the
Tom
obvious.
Holland's not really Peter Parker, right? You know,
yeah, it's like,
Robert Downey Jr. is not really Iron Man, right? No one says that. Nobody.
Yeah, when a guy snaps his fingers and half of the existence goes away, people get emotionally invested. They don't say, well, that's all bullshit. You know, that's fake, right? Like wrestling is bullshit, the only thing.
But it was well acted bullshit. It was amazingly acted bullshit. That's why people got into it.
I know probably some people that are listening to this are like, your guys are preaching to the choir, but you have no idea how often this happens.
It's so annoying.
Ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Yes, it's a show. It's predetermined. People come together and decide who wins. But guess what? I was sitting next to 60 some odd thousand people for 2 nights of WrestleMania in a football stadium. So who cares? You know, if you don't like, if wrestling is not your thing, shut the fuck up. You know, there's a lot of things out there that I don't enjoy, but I don't judge you. Like when people talk to me and ask me about sports, I'll ask questions, but I'm not, you know, I'm not following the thing, but I'm not going to fucking disrespect it, you know? I don't know.
What's the point? There's no, like,
there's no point.
You know, and on sort of like, as sort of a segue, but sure. As a fan of wrestling, we've been talking about this. This has been like the best WrestleMania since 31.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. It
has not been that great.
No, but here's one thing I want to tell you about LA. So I went to the Melrose flea market, right? And I ran into some fans there because they saw my WrestleMania shirt. They're like, oh, you're at WrestleMania? I was like, yep. And I said, what did you think? And these are 2 women, by the way. And they were like life-changing. And it was so cool to see women say that because, you know, wrestling hasn't been too kind to women in America the last 20 years. You know, recently it's been better. And the women, we'll talk about this when we talk about WrestleMania, but the women of WrestleMania were just tremendous. All the women's matches were awesome, I thought. Even the showcase tag team match, I thought that was pretty good, you know? But anyway, okay, Supercard of Honor, Ring of Honor. I was there, and my God, it was unbelievable. It was such a great show. And some of the huge standouts are, if you're going to watch Supercard of Honor, this is what you should watch. Vikingo and Commander. They kicked off the show, and I'm glad they did, because this is a match that it was just like modern day lucha in the flesh. And it was kind of poetic, is that Rey Mysterio got inducted into the Hall of Fame that weekend, and you see his influence implemented in the flesh. You see it for yourself. Rey Mysterio is one of the most, outside of like El Santo, Rey Mysterio is probably the most famous luchador ever, aside from El Santo, and Mil Mascaras. and probably Blue Demon, but he's up there.
Ultimo Dragon.
Ultimo Dragon, yeah,
Ultimo Dragon. Can't forget him.
but
we digress. Yeah, he's like
yeah,
one of the
but
most.
you saw it. You saw his influence. And Vikingo and Commander, they did things that no one else can do. It was a lucha match, so a lot of acrobatics, but a lot of outstanding acrobatics. It was wild, and everybody was into it. Everybody gave a shit about what they were doing. So anybody who says, well, everyone does too many moves, but listen, they do moves that no one else can do. No one else can do that. You can't follow that. You can't copy that. You can't do it. So if you're going to watch a match from that, start with that. And the reach for the
silly question. You've seen more Vikingo matches than I do. I just wanted to know, like, does he like sell? I mean, I've seen some.
No, he doesn't sell at all. Everything that he does to him, he just nothing. He just keeps going. He just flies around and does nothing.
Well, he's
like, of course, he's
invincible. That's cool.
He's a wrestler. Of course, of course. Yes, he sells. No, he doesn't. Of course, he does. Like, it's whatever. No, he doesn't. He didn't sell a goddamn thing that Commander did to him at all. Like, he sold nothing. He made nothing. He didn't make him look good at all. He made him look like a complete loser. And no one cheered. No one cared. No, of course he did. Okay, Reach of the Sky ladder match. This is another one. Okay, we've been critical of ladder matches, modern ladder matches. Yes, this match had a lot of stuff in it. But I will say they all wanted the tag team title belts. They all tried. They all attempted to climb. They knew that was important. They did a lot of crazy shit to each other, but they did it because they knew, okay, I got to do whatever I can. Because look who was in the match. Pentagon and Phoenix, you got to do a lot to keep those motherfuckers down. You got to do a ton. You got Top Flight in there. Like, you have to do everything you can to keep these motherfuckers subdued. So that's what they did. That's exactly what they did. And it was so great. It was super violent.
Did anyone take a bat to Felix's legs? Because that's the first thing I would have done.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't see anybody do that, but they did a lot of shit to keep. I thought it was wild and it was very exciting. And I'm glad Phoenix and Pentagon they won. I think that's if Tony Khan wants to light a fire to the Ring of Honor brand, he was smart for putting the belts on those two. And Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe.
I was going to ask you about that. I really wanted to see that too.
Oh, it was great. It was great. And you know what? And we'll talk about WrestleMania, but it was kind of like a similar deal. Like, I think Mark Briscoe should have won, but I am open to see where they go with Samoa Joe and Mark Briscoe's trajectory, because it's not over.
They're feuding.
They're in they wrestled.
Oh God, yes.
So, and they told a great story of how Mark Briscoe never beat Samoa Joe in all the years of Ring of Honor, and because they've all been in Ring of Honor since the beginning, and Mark Briscoe really wants a TV title. That's a title he wants to win. So I think I'm open to seeing where that goes. Okay, main event, because we have a lot to talk about. The main event. Claudio versus Eddie Kingston, and whatever you expected this match to be, that's exactly what it was.
Yes,
it was just a hard hitting. It was, we all know Eddie Kingston's love of All Japan, that whole wave of All Japan and Japanese wrestling, and this is what he did. He chop, brawl, chop, German chop, suplex, chop. It was a brawl. It was amazing. It was the complete opposite of Vikingo and Commander, but that's great. That's good. You want that. You want
that variety.
You want that. And that's what was great about this show. It was everything under the sun. Not everything under the sun, I shouldn't say that, but you got the best of most. It was a super card of honor. That's exactly what it was. You got a lucha AAA match, and you had classic, almost ECW style, All Japan style match, and they kind of continuing what they've done in Shikara and Ring of Honor and all that stuff. So it was like a New York, like an East Coast independent wrestling style with some ECW and some All Japan wrestling. I thought it was excellent. I thought this whole show was great, but if you're going to watch some matches, those are the four to watch. So we got to talk WrestleMania. Night one. Okay, we can start with Charlotte and Rhea. We won't go in order, but
Yeah, of
Charlotte
course.
Rhea
Yeah.
SmackDown title. What'd you think?
I wrote smoking on top fives. This match was freaking crazy. Like it was like that transition in that Kendrick song. It was like, what the hell? It just came out of nowhere. It was great. That match was pro wrestling. I don't see Rhea Ripley have a lot of bad matches. And like
No.
when they wrestled first in the first WrestleMania we saw him, the QZ WrestleMania, it was one of the best matches of the show. The problem was the wrong person won. This rectified all of that. Because the problem wasn't their work, it was the storytelling. Now the storytelling was just way more to the point.
Yeah, because look at Rhea Ripley now. She's arguably a bigger star than she was 3 years ago when she was just in NXT. And now she's been on the main roster for like how long? Almost 2-3 years now. 2 years,
Yeah,
give or take 2 years. And
I admit it.
yeah, so it was about time. And Charlotte has been champion a million times. So, and they also need to think about the future.
She's gonna
And
get more, but yeah.
Charlotte is tremendous. She was absolutely outstanding in this match. And they had it felt like a big deal because I was there live and the crowd was into everything they did and they were really invested. They really wanted Rhea Ripley to win. And
she was the heel. She was kind of the heel.
Yeah, but they really it doesn't matter, They really wanted her to win.
Like no one's gonna go against like the person fighting Charlotte,
especially if you're younger. If you're
Yeah.
younger and you have a lot of, she has a good look to her, and she's cool looking. She's easy to get behind, and Charlotte is easy to dislike, just in a wrestling perspective and storyline because she's Ric Flair's daughter and everything, tall, leggy, blonde. The perceptions that she's been handed everything and what have you, even though Charlotte's great and she's earned her spot in her position, I think. But this was an easy story that's kind of like, it's a layup, it's easy. And they made the right decision here. And the fact that Rhea, they're thinking about the future again, and Rhea definitely earned this and they should be very proud of themselves because I thought it was a spectacular match. You could have fit
Ric
this
Flair,
yeah.
Like Ric Flair had the promo. Charlotte has the wrestling. Like Ric Flair's a good wrestler too, but she's like on another level.
Yeah,
she doesn't have that. I always like say like she doesn't have the most personality, but she's a wonderful wrestler.
If she has the right program with the right person, she can make magic. Look what she did with Asuka, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, all made magic together. Right person, right program. That's all it is. I want to talk about the tag team match last, as far as night one is concerned. What's your thoughts on Trish, Lita, and Becky versus Damage Control?
Oh, this match, it wasn't like my favorite match in the show, but it was fun. Like Io Shirai, Io Shirai really stood out like in this match. She didn't get the showcase she deserved at the War Games, but this was way more fun. I really did enjoy this match. It was really cool to see Trish and Lita again. Like it's like Trish is still awesome, and Lita, as far as all of her performances of her coming back, this was a better one. Like she's really channeling her inner Jeff Hardy. It was fun. It was a fun match, and I love Bayley.
I thought for two women that are getting older and they haven't wrestled in a while, I thought they were tremendous. Lita and Trish, they were really good. They were outstanding, and again, I don't think this was like on the level of like Trish and Charlotte from SummerSlam a couple of years ago. That was like outstanding, but this was really good, I thought. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the women's tag team titles, and putting it on Lita and Becky was a good idea to kind of help jumpstart this those belts. So we'll see what happens with Damage Control. I apparently from Monday Night Raw didn't have like the greatest showing. Bayley wasn't there, so I don't know what's going on there. But again, I'm willing to see. I
didn't even bother watching it. I just no.
Yeah.
The one thing I would have changed about this match, I would have divided it into two matches: Damage Control versus Lita and Becky because they were the tag champions. Bayley versus Trish, because I remember when Trish had that one-on-one with Charlotte. I don't remember the pay-per-view, but I remember that match. It was awesome. Yeah. Bayley's great and Trish is still great. I think I would have loved to see a one-on-one between them.
Yeah, on a 2-night WrestleMania, less is more. But if they do Evolution 2, If
He
they
had
do,
room.
well, yeah,
With all the Miz and Snoop Dogg segments, you
they
had
could
room.
have. Yeah, they could have.
Come
But
on.
if they do Evolution 2, that would be perfect for that.
I hope so.
We'll see. We'll see.
Uh,
Everything's up in the air right now.
oh
So
God, I don't
okay,
even know what
Dominic
that.
versus Rey Mysterio. What'd you think of this?
I wrote like Rey Mysterio beats up his own son. Great.
What did you think of the police court entrance?
Jesus Christ, that was ah yeah, that was funny. That was pretty funny. I really loved when Rey Mysterio came out to Eddie's theme in the lowrider.
With Snoop Dogg.
That was cool.
Excellent.
And it was only missing one thing. Keiji Muto should have been in the lowrider with them because he was wearing a Keiji Muto mask.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like, yeah, it was great. It was fun. That was really fun.
Yeah, I thought, it's funny, the video, like, there were too many fucking video packages here.
Yeah,
I will say, the video packages were great. They were really good, but there was too much. There was way too much. But the video package for Rey Mysterio and Dominic was tremendous because they did a great job of telling their story. But I was confused as to why Dominic was suddenly this hardened criminal that said he did hard time. But when they showed when he got arrested outside of the Mysterio's house, I died laughing because I'm like, okay, that's why. That's why he said he did a hard time, which makes this whole thing even funnier. And the fact that he came out to a police escort, well, he was in jail, but the thing is, like, he had to put himself in jail to get that. I don't know why that happened, but it was entertaining just to see. If you could suspend disbelief for just a second.
He was literally dressed as a character from San Andreas. He was
but he got listen. I wasn't super sold on the Dominic character, but I thought he did a great job because he got real heat. But he got really good heat.
Yeah,
really good
like
heat.
The positive kind of heat.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, people really wanted to boo him. And
not
then
like
now,
go away heat. Like, he got like actual.
No, he doesn't have go away heat. No. So I kind of warmed up to this Dominic character, and I thought the match was great too.
He's adorable, like it's funny about him.
Yeah, and I thought it was really good. It was a great showcase. Made Dominic look good, and the Bad Bunny stuff of it all. It was great to see Rey Mysterio live with a really good showcase of his skill. And because the last time I was at WrestleMania, he wrestled Samoa Joe, and it was like 2 seconds, and it was like,
yeah, I was like,
man,
the quickest. That was.
I don't know. It wasn't
that again next time. Vince is
yeah, it was like one of 19 matches on a 9-hour show. So it's good to see Rey Mysterio get some shine because this story has been brewing for a while. So this is the longest Rey Mysterio storyline since the Eddie Guerrero stuff. Yeah. I would say, yeah, this is like the most in-depth storyline. Than
the Seth Rollins eyeball feud?
Oh, that too. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that felt long in a bad way.
Yeah, this was long too. Well, I guess the CM Punk stuff was relatively long term too. That's right. Yeah.
That's a classic.
That was very good.
Part of that too,
and it wasn't tasteless. It wasn't. No, so
no. When you saying happy birthday?
He's saying happy birthday when CM Punk said happy birthday to Aaliyah and made her cry. That's another guy. That time, that's a guy who was getting real heat.
Yo, he's the man.
It was him and Jericho, and Jericho was in a suit, and people were like looking for him after shows. And that's like 1970s stuff. That's 1970s Puerto Rico kind of stuff.
God.
Yeah. Well, heels are heel, right? Good heel's a good heel. But lastly on this show, one of the best matches all weekend, I think. Oh, well, not on the show, just night one. Usos and Sammy and KO. Tag team titles.
Oh my God. Yes, that was awesome. That was freaking... you see, I always I always say that I enjoyed 2-on-2 tag team wrestling. This was everything I wanted because I've always loved the Usos. Their reinvention has been like unreal, and I'm glad Kevin and Sammy are able to just be them, and it was magic. It was awesome. And the main event, this was a hell of a main event. Like this was great. I didn't know what was going to main event. Like
this, because this Bloodline storyline is taking on different layers and different directions and different people are involved. And it's almost like a Wu-Tang album, like the Wu-Tang as a group, and then the solo Wu-Tang albums. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like this is like the Liquid Swords of the Bloodline storyline.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, I like, reunion angles are kind of good because I remember the Shield thing when Seth was trying to get Moxley to, trust him again. And that buildup was great. And the crowd, that was like one of the loudest pops I heard on Raw at that time. It was crazy. And that match they had at SummerSlam against the Bar, outstanding. That was great. So this was a lot deeper and a lot on a bigger level because it was a main event angle, literally. And the fact that they put this last on night one was a chef's kiss. Perfection. This was one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen in the flesh and of the last like 20 years or so. And like TLC was TLC, like at WrestleMania, those are great, but this is on that level. Like I feel that way because I feel like we're gonna be talking about this match for a long time. It was outstanding. The drama, all the storytelling was just out of this world. Like the Usos have definitely cemented themselves as one of the best tag teams in the entire world. They are absolutely outstanding. Yeah. They are so good at being just vicious, brutal heels, and Sammy and Kevin were just perfect, sympathetic baby faces, and they just kicked ass. This was a brawl. This was like Claudio and Eddie Kingston, just ass kicking.
Yeah, none of these guys are ass kissing.
No.
This reminded me of like the Usos, like when they first reinvented themselves, when they first got on that day one ish.
Yeah,
when they wrestled American Alpha.
Yep.
Every week,
that finish,
it reminded me of that. Like this was that good. Like this was crazy.
That finish, 3 haluva kicks.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah,
awesome. I loved it, and the crowd lost their shit. It was, man, just being there live was, my God. So
Sammy won the title.
Can't hear you.
Just imagine if Sammy won the title,
the world title. Who cares?
Because look at the reaction they got for winning the tag title.
All right, but that makes the tag. Oh, what does the tag team titles mean?
Well, yeah. Of course, yeah, they had to do it for the tag title. But I'm saying, like, Sammy's the man.
This was the right call. Putting the Usos haven't been beaten in how long? This is what because
600 plus days.
WWE is great at main event angles, but they've been horrible at the rest of the card. Look at we'll talk about this in a second when we talk about night 2. Look at what they're doing with the Intercontinental title. Look at where it is now compared to where it was like 2 years ago. It is on another level. So this card was what made this card special is that there was a bunch of interesting shit sprinkled throughout the card. Even the hoopla sports entertainment stuff with Snoop Dogg was entertaining to me. But yeah,
Snoop Dogg was great. Snoop Dogg
was phenomenal.
Was awesome. There are very few things about this show that were silly. There were very few things about the show that I didn't care about, but most of it was awesome. It's pretty great.
Just the worst things about the show was just the video packages. Like,
oh well, yeah, it's all noise. It's like all noise to me when it's annoying.
I mean, they're great. They're really good at because if you didn't watch any TV from WWE last year, it summed everything up for you. It did.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, actually.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to night 2. Let's talk about Asuka and Bianca, Raw Women's title. What'd you think of this one?
Okay, the entrances were awesome because Asuka is great, but Bianca coming out with that dance team, all those young girls, that was awesome. How they were dancing.
They got a big reaction too.
Yeah, they're from Compton. Really, I mean, like I've always loved Bianca's theme, but this will probably make more people like her theme song. This was really, really cool.
And you know what's funny? Like with WWE, they're kind of stepping up their culture game because they got a few dancers from Compton.
Yeah,
like that's crazy. You got a black woman walking in to WrestleMania as the champion in a featured match. It's not just a pre-show, nothing.
No, I have a crazy story actually.
Yeah,
I have a crazy story. I found this out because I saw Triple H talk about it during the I'm gonna say their media scrum.
Yeah, that's
They
appropriate.
yeah
That's what it
yeah
is.
Triple H was he was talking about how I think one of the main solo dancers in that team, I think one of the younger girls who was doing a lot of acrobatic stuff, apparently that day, uh, or the day before, but that apparently her mom passed away.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and she went out there and still did that. I can't I what?
Yeah, that
That's
was
crazy.
something. That's something. Yeah. So, and then you have like Bad Bunny and Puerto Rico. Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico on a WWE pay per view. He's wrestling
Oh yeah, in the
against.
future, yeah, about down the line, yeah, that's gonna be
No,
that's cool.
yeah. Well, he's going to be wrestling at the next pay per view. Well, they're setting up.
He's not just hosting; he's gonna be wrestling too.
No, because they did an angle on Raw with Damian Priest and Dominic and Rey Mysterio. Like Damian chokeslam Bad Bunny through a table. So
Oh
yeah, they're
snap.
gonna. That'll be awesome. That would be so cool. But anyway, I think WWE stepping up their culture game is great. But the match, Asuka and Bianca, I thought it was good. I thought they did a lot of really interesting stuff. I thought Asuka, man, when you were texting me during the show, like the way she goes from hold to hold is unreal.
Her transitions is amazing. Like she's like one of the best submission people they have. Like she's wonderful. She doesn't always get the credit she deserves, but you know who am I kidding? Everyone loves her, but like
When it comes to just on the mat, she's unreal. She's unreal. You know, again, it was the opposite of Vikingo and Commander in a good way
yeah, yeah.
because they did a lot of high flying stuff. They didn't do a whole lot of mat stuff because they're luchadors. But like Asuka, she comes from like a relatively she did some MMA fighting, and you know in Japan it's you know they make it's you know you looks like a fight, right? So she has that. She brings that to the table, and she has tons of charisma, overwhelming charisma. So you put Bianca, who's also super strong and super athletically gifted and charismatic. It was kind of overwhelming to see, but
You know, us talking
yeah,
about this match and you bringing up Vikingo, it makes me think of like you know Eddie Guerrero, how unique he
yeah.
was, how like he mixed like the grounded style and like high flying style,
Because he wrestled in Japan and he wrestled in Mexico.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
But like these match, I gotta watch that Vikingo match. But this match, like I you know how much I'm like a mark for Asuka, and Bianca just didn't hasn't missed
I love both of them immensely.
like at
And the
all.
fact that they were on the show together in a title match, come on.
It was bad. Like it was one of the this and the triple threat match for for the Intercontinental title
Yeah.
were my two favorite matches of the night.
I do
Like it was,
think that I would have loved to see Asuka win because I think she needs a restart.
we kind of know why she didn't win, but she should have won
Why do you think she didn't win?
because Vince might be running things again.
Oh, I don't know.
He wasn't that always that high on Asuka, but I don't know.
Well, I don't
All
know.
I know is I thought she should have won.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like
understand, you know, Bianca has a lot going on. They've been featuring Bianca in a lot of promo and a lot of marketing stuff for WWE, so I can understand why she won. Excuse me. But you could also do well, she could always win like at the next pay-per-view or the pay-per-view after that. You know, you
But
can
like you know, we you know there are a lot of instances where we talk about things like that where like oh this person didn't win at Mania but they could have they can win at the next pay per view they could but the thing is isn't Mania the show where you have like big wins
yeah, but
you
okay.
know
The
like
Rock. Okay, The Rock won the Rumble in 2000. The Rock in 2000. Think about that.
yeah
Went to WrestleMania, lost. Went to Backlash, won. Where's The Rock now? Is The Rock
yeah
a
yeah
dweeb dork? What's he doing now? That's why I don't read into that too much. Um, but yeah, let's see. Drew, Sheamus, Gunther, IC title. What you
yeah
think?
this match was amazing this like it really makes me real like it really makes me happy for how much Sheamus has grown because like there was a time where I was not that interested in Sheamus like a lot of his
Me
stuff I
either.
didn't find him exciting but now it's like he literally got a standing ovation from hitting a guy 30 times like that's insane.
It's just kind of Triple H kind of just saw okay, what does he do the best? I think that's what he did. I don't know. I don't know his, his booking philosophy or whatever, or how he works with talent, but it just seems like they just focusing. Sheamus gained a connection with the fans, something he didn't really do the last decade. They had pockets that the crowd was behind him, little small instances. But like Paul Heyman's philosophy is, what do they do well? And Sheamus hits hard very well. So that's what he does.
Yeah, he makes matches look believable, but he became so much of a better worker. And and the thing is, he wasn't talking. He doesn't talk as much.
No, he just goes out there and kicks you in the head.
Yeah, he doesn't talk as much.
His stuff with the bar with Cesaro I thought was excellent. That match he had with Bryan Danielson a decade ago, Extreme Rules, excellent. Yeah, like he had some pockets of stuff that are really good, but sometimes he just wasn't in the right program at the right time.
Yeah, the whole League of Nations thing. Remember that?
I didn't care much for that. But now Sheamus is in the right place, in the right position, exactly where he needs to be. He's just Sheamus. He doesn't have anything else wacky connected to him. He's just him, and he just kicks ass. That's his character, and I like.
I want to see him wrestle Gunther one-on-one again.
I would love that.
That first match was insane.
Insane. They got to do that at SummerSlam or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this match was great. It was just three Europeans beating the shit out of each other, and the crowd loved it. I loved it, and it wasn't too long. And Gunther won. I think it's great. Okay, Finn Edge, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, this was awesome. It was really cool to see Finn do his demon thing again, and Edge just being awesome in a Hell in a Cell match. I was a little weirded out by the candy-coated kendo sticks. I would prefer the wood color, but that didn't really take me out of the match too much. It was still really, really cool. I was worried about Finn for a little bit because he was down for a while, and he had apparently he had this huge gash on his head, and he still finished the match because he's a maniac. And the thing is, I didn't know he had that gash until after the match. He proceeded to do that. You remember when he freaking climbed from the ring to the cage, and I'm like, he did that with staples in his head.
Yeah. I thought it was was it like one of the greatest Hell in a Cells ever? No. But it was exactly what a Hell in a Cell match should be. Violent. It was violent. It was uncomfortable.
Violent.
Yeah. There's been some Hell in a Cell matches in the past where it's just people doing wrestling moves in a big cage. Then they have that one spot where they do a move into the chairs.
You jump off the cage.
You have a pile of chairs and you do a move.
You jump off the cage like Foley did.
Yeah, you exchange holds. You're wrestling in a no, man. Sometimes you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that all the time. You don't need to exchange holds.
They're having a grappling match in a freaking giant cage match.
No.
You don't even need weapons. Just kill each other.
It's just violent. The first few things they did in that match was go for weapons. Great. Awesome. And I liked it for that. And I thought it was a nice conclusion to their story. Edge got revenge on the people that, betrayed him, for the Judgment Day falling apart. And
Finn stole a stable from him.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a long time coming.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Main event time. Roman versus Cody. What'd you think?
The match was tremendous. The ending, I did not see. There is no reason why Cody should not have walked out as champion. You could, and this is another thing. Yes, he could win in another pay-per-view, but you will never have this moment again. Him winning at WrestleMania and beating Roman after everything he went through. He freaking beat Gunther, a guy who was number 1 in the Royal Rumble, and you couldn't give him the belt at Mania? Why? It was a great match. The match was tremendous. Both of them were tremendous, but the ending made me go, huh? All right. This is a choice. I don't know. What did you think?
I thought the match was outstanding. Thought it was very dramatic. I thought it was enticing. I would have loved to see Cody win, but then I was thinking, this is what WWE does very well. And a lot of fans are used to this, and they're conditioned to think like this because WWE does this a lot. They're good at giving you a Kodak moment, a nice snapshot moment
Yeah.
that looks good.
Yeah, like when Cody's sitting, like, and he's like distraught and Roman is outside of the ring. That was a good shot.
No. I mean, like when you give somebody a moment. Kofi Kingston win the title against Bryan Danielson. Great moment. Awesome moment. Right? But what happened after that? What happened after that?
Oh, God.
A whole lot of nothing. Honestly, a whole lot of nothing happened after that. I don't know when the New Day won the tag team titles at SummerSlam against the primetime players, but they became one of the biggest tag teams in WWE ever, right? And it wasn't like a big like the thing is, I'd rather see something. I'm open to seeing something play out, and if it turns into a disaster, then it's a disaster. But I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, this was a mistake that Cody would. But the thing is, I'd rather see how this works out. I don't want just a nice moment when you don't have a plan after. So Cody wins, then what happens? What happens after that? We talked about it on the last show. What happens after that? So him winning would have been amazing. I would have loved to see that. Great moment. But I care because wrestling is not like other sports. When you win the Super Bowl, that's it until September. When you win the World Series, that's it until next April. When you win the Stanley Cup, that's it until next October. That's it. Wrestling keeps going. So I stopped putting stock on quote unquote WrestleMania moments because when you look at all of the biggest stars in wrestling in WWE, they all rarely have that Kodak WWE. Some of them do. Steve Austin did, Shawn Michaels did, but I can argue Shawn Michaels did way more important stuff after he beat Bret Hart at WrestleMania. You could also argue that Steve Austin did a lot more important things after he beat Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. But it was a nice little moment. You got the soundbite from JR. That's great. Well, they had a plan. Steve Austin was like, that's a guy they always wanted to have a plan for. But like Chris Benoit, I don't really like talking about him much, but I'm just saying when he won at WrestleMania 20, nice moment. They did jack shit for him after that.
Yeah, exactly. No, that happens a lot. And like, I agree with you. And here's the thing. When I believe, yes.
Rey Mysterio's another one.
Yeah. Like, of course, that's a whole nother thing. And how they, after Eddie's death, I hated that. But anyway, I'm saying like, yeah, say for example, like maybe what if, okay, they build this for another year, and then at the next WrestleMania he beats Roman.
Oh, that's too much. That's too much.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't think Cody should have won because of one moment. I think he should have won because they were building this story for a minute.
Yep.
The second he came back to WWE, he had one objective, not the IC title, not the US title. No offense to those titles. He had one single objective that they've been building for a while. I'm going to win the title that my dad never officially won. I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to do it for us, right? What the hell happened?
Wait, is that over? Is it over?
It's not over, but it's just like...
That's the thing. It's not over.
If he doesn't win at Mania, when is he going to win it?
It doesn't matter. As long as you don't take too long, his goal...
Because Mania is the climax, right?
Well, I don't know.
It should
be.
No,
it doesn't matter. No. Okay. Don't worry about how things should be. What is the story here? What's the story? What does he want? What does Cody want? Cody wants to beat Roman.
He wants the world title.
He wants the world title. Okay, great. So that's still happening. He still wants that. And now there's a lot of obstacles in his way. Again, there is a lot of money in the chase. And again, there is a moment where you don't want to you want to strike while the iron's hot. The thing is, Cody's hot. Cody's not cold.
The iron was hot last night.
Sure, they could have done that. They could have, but they didn't. And it's not over. I'm willing to see where it's going to go. Because again, WWE fans are used to that Kodak moment, but no one ever talks about what happens after that. Wrestling keeps going. It doesn't
you
stop.
Could have an after. Here's an after. What if during the IC triple threat match, Sheamus won, right? He wins the title. And Cody beats Roman. Walter could fight for the next spot to fight Cody.
But I'm just saying,
because you remember at Royal Rumble, right? When they had like that great exchange, and people thought, okay, these guys are gonna have a great match one day. That could be the match.
okay, but the thing, you can fantasy book to hell. I'm just saying from history how WWE does things. They give you a Kodak shot, but they do shit after. Here, they are setting a new chapter in an already continuing story that's still happening with the bloodline and Sammy. Sammy and KO won, but that shit ain't over because they still want to dismantle the bloodline. That's the big picture here. That's how I look at things, and that's good wrestling booking. What the fuck do I know about booking? But what smart people will say about wrestling is like it's all about, it's long-term plan, not just long-term planning, but like you have a plan. What's the plan? What was the plan for Kofi? Nothing. What was the plan for CM Punk? Nothing. They didn't expect CM Punk to get that hot. They were dragged kicking and screaming. What was the plan for Bryan Danielson? Nothing. They have to be dragged kicking. No. They have to be dragged kicking and screaming. Now with Cody, they got something here is happening. You know what I mean? It's not just a one-time thing. It's gonna yeah.
I mean, look, I understand what you're saying. I get it, and it makes perfect sense because, like, yes, like stories aren't always the same. Maybe not everyone wins at Mania, but like he loses at Mania. Where does he win? Like, freaking Elimination Chamber?
Why does that matter? One of the best matches in AEW wasn't at All Out, wasn't at Double or Nothing. One of the best matches that ever happened in Dynamite was in AEW was on a Dynamite.
Omega and Danielson, right?
Yeah, that was one of the best matches they ever. And granted, Revolution, that main event, unbelievable. But the thing is, all I care about are the parties involved and the story. I don't care if this shit happens at a house show. Well, that's a bad example.
That would be dumb. Come on.
I'm just saying.
I get what you mean, but like,
yeah, okay. WrestleMania is okay. How did WrestleMania 17 end? WrestleMania 17 ended with Steve Austin being The Rock. And what also happened, yeah. So it was an end of one thing and the beginning of something else. No matter what you think about the Invasion storyline, it kicked off another few months of storylines. That's all I care about. I just care about the two parties involved. Are they interesting enough to me to pay attention? And where are you going with this? So I'm going to wait to see where they're going.
No, but here's the thing. Triple H, and you see, I would be excited to see Triple H was the one who helped facilitate all these stories, right? For where he was running things. I would be very open to seeing where he would be going with this if this was his. But Vince is going to be running things. Is he going to want to those stories?
And even if Cody won, we'll be having the same conversation because now that Vince
he would kill him afterwards. Vince would he's going to kill everybody. But
then all you would have had was that stupid Kodak moment. But now that Vince is in charge again, or whatever he is, whatever's going on with him and Endeavor and whatever the fuck, I'm a little less optimistic because Vince is totally out of touch with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Vince is going to destroy the company, at least give Cody the title now.
All I know is that I hope that they have a plan and they stick to that plan.
Like the Big John song.
I just hope. And then you keep Vince the hell out of those conversations. Please,
but
for
Vince
the love of
everything. He's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be he's gonna win the title. He's probably gonna beat Cody for it. Imagine Cody wins and Vince makes his own money in the bank and he wins the title.
And he has to wrestle Shane McMahon.
Yep. Oh
and
my
God. And then Shane blows his knees out of the match. And then Snoop Dogg has to come, and then Cody has to wrestle Snoop Dogg. So
that's what we have to look forward to.
But
but like the thing is, I do understand what you mean. Like I should be more optimistic, but I just had.
I'm not forcing you to be optimistic. I don't think you should be optimistic. I'm just saying that
it's better to be optimistic.
Wrestling. Well, listen. All I know is that wrestling is all the time. It doesn't stop. I mean, there is okay. You have to strike while the iron's hot. But if Cody was cold. If Cody started to cool off, then it's like you missed your chance. I don't think they missed their chance. I really don't.
I hope not. I hope they didn't.
I really don't. I think I'm willing to see how this. I'm willing to see it because this storyline is one of the best storylines WWE in decades, and Triple H historically likes to see things play out. He doesn't like to blow things out quickly. But I'm excited to see where it goes. And I think some wrestling fans should have a little bit of patience. If you care, if you don't care and you just want to see the guy win because you wanted to see the guy win, that's cool too. But like me, the reason why I watch wrestling, I like the stories and the characters and direction, good direction. That's all. That's all I care about.
I guess I'm just
willing to see how
the
it goes.
direction with this.
Let's talk. Okay, in 6 months to a year, if this all goes to shit and we're back to where we were 2 years ago with WWE, then I'll be like, you know what, maybe they should have won. But I'm willing to see I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and see where they're going with this.
Mr. Snub?
Yeah, Mr. Snub is back, from someplace far away. God. That all the jokes we made, like it's true. Like
it really the thing is, look, I just think if Hunter was still running things, I would be so optimistic. Okay, fine, Hunter probably has a plan, but I don't know who has a plan anymore.
I don't know.
I don't know who's writing this. I don't know who's driving the ship anymore.
Anyway, I think we can both agree. I think we can both agree this is the best WrestleMania in years.
Oh no, yes, like
top to bottom.
This listen, that like I said, that like Cody not winning, that's one of very few issues I had with this show. I was really enjoying both nights. I was excited to see. I don't remember the last time we were this excited. At least I was this excited. You were there freaking live. I don't remember the last time I was this excited to see a WrestleMania.
And I was way up in the cheap seats. Way up.
It was great.
And I had a great time.
Did the lights bother you like that 1 year at WrestleMania? Did the lights okay?
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all. Like I was wearing glasses, didn't have to squint. I was like, okay. I can see what you're doing. The only time that it got trouble, like, because when they have the LED lights around the security barricade, so it's kind of hard to see when they get on the top. But it's WWE. People aren't really going up top a lot, except for Rey Mysterio and the Street Profits. But guys and girls stayed in the ring. When Charlotte would do some, like, it was very like limited. Yeah, Seth, but like, whatever. But it wasn't that abundant. How
did Seth Rollins' entrance come off live? I didn't care about his match.
I mean, people liked it. People love the entrance. I think it's stupid, but people like it. People loved it. They were singing the oh crap, But I think it's dumb. But whatever. We don't have to open up that can of worms.
It's just funny. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the Wrestling Caucus. I'm Peter A.
Smiley Ariaga.
Don't forget to follow us on the socials: Instagram @The Wrestling Caucus and Twitter @Wrestling Caucus. All right. Later days.